The Nabataeans were an ancient Arab people who inhabited the territories of Jordan, southern Israel, the Sinai Peninsula, and the northeastern Saudi Arabia. Their monopoly on the rich caravan trade that passed from Yemen to the port city of Gaza on the Mediterranean coast was the main source of their prosperity. They established a kingdom in the 3rd century BC that resisted until 106 AD. The capital of the Nabataean Kingdom was Petra, a city famous today for its rock-cut architecture and the UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1985. The Nabataeans were one among several nomadic Bedouin tribes that roamed the Arabian desert and moved with their herds to wherever they could find pasture and water. They became familiar with their area as seasons passed, and they struggled to survive during bad years when seasonal rainfall diminished. The Nabataeans were digging cisterns which were filled with rainwater and then covered them and left signs which only they would recognize. Following this policy, they were able to travel with greater ease than their competitors in trade. They orchestrated an elaborate system of water transportation and conservation which was unrivaled in that time. According to biblical tradition and oral tradition, the Nabataeans were named Nabataeans because they descend from Nabaat, son of Ishmael, who was Abraham's first son. The Nabataeans spoke a form of Arabic. For their inscriptions, however, they used the Aramaic under heavy influence from Arabic forms and words demonstrated in numerous Nabataean inscriptions, which reflect the local tongue of the Nabataeans. The Nabataeans might have settled in what will become the capital city of their kingdom as early as the 4th century BC. However, archaeological work has only discovered evidence of Nabataean presence dating back to the 2nd century BC, by which time Petra had become their capital. The city of Petra was carved in the sandstone cliffs of mountains and not easily accessible. Their decision to build their capital in that particular area allowed them to monitor the incense routes and tax caravans passing through their territory, thus enriching them further, and its inaccessibility provided protection. Access to the city is through a 1.2 kilometer long gorge called the Siq, at the end of which stands Petra's most elaborate ruin, popularly known as Al-Khazneh, the treasury, hewn into the sandstone cliff. Petra flourished in the 1st century AD when its famous Al-Khazneh structure, believed to be the mausoleum of Nabataean king Aretas IV, was constructed, and its population peaked at an estimated 20,000 inhabitants. The first historical reference to the Nabataeans is by Greek historian Diodorus Siculus, who lived around 30 BC, and who refers to accounts made 300 years earlier. Antigonus I, one of Alexander the Great's generals, tried to conquer the land of the Nabataeans. The Antigonids attacked Petra in 312 BC, while the most of the Nabataeans were away for a festival, and the few inhabitants remaining were taken by surprise, and tons of spices and silver were looted. The Antigonids departed before nightfall and made camp to rest 37 kilometers away, where they thought they would be safe from a Nabataean counterattack. The camp was attacked by 8,000 Nabataean soldiers, and all the 4,000 Antigonid foot soldiers were slain, while of the 600 horsemen about 50 escaped, according to Diodorus. The Antigonids' second attack was with an army of 4,000 infantry and 4,000 cavalry, led by Antigonus' son Demetrius the Besieger. The Nabataean scouts spotted the marching enemy and used smoke signals to warn of the approaching Antigonid army. The Nabataeans dispersed their herds and possessions to guarded locations in harsh terrain, such as deserts and mountaintops, which would be difficult for the Antigonids to attack, and garrisoned Petra to defend what remained. The Antigonids attacked Petra, but the Nabataeans managed to repulse the invading force. Realizing his limited supplies and the determination of the Nabataean fighters, Demetrius eventually was forced to accept peace and withdrew with hostages and gifts. Antigonus sent another expedition, this time to extract bitumen from the Dead Sea, a valuable commodity that was essential for the embalming process. His forces were defeated by a Nabataean army, this event being considered the first conflict caused by a Middle Eastern petroleum product. As the Seleucid kingdom became weaker in the 2nd century BC, the Nabataean kingdom increased in strength and extended its frontiers. The first historically attested king is Aretas I around 168 BC, and his reign marks the beginning of the Nabataean kingdom. Aretas I's date is attested by a Nabataean inscription citing 168 BC, and he is also mentioned in the 2nd book of the Maccabees in the Bible, which confirms his reign at that time. He expanded the territory of Nabataea and supported the Maccabees of Judea in their struggle against the Seleucid Greeks. Later, the Nabataeans became rivals of the Hasmonean dynasty of Judea. The Hasmonean king Alexander Jannaeus occupied the city of Gaza around 100 BC and then launched a campaign that captured several territories in Transjordan, north of Nabataea, along the road to Damascus, including northern Moab and Gilead. The Nabataean king Obodas I fought to restore control over these areas, managing to defeat Jannaeus in the Battle of Gadara around 93 BC, when he ambushed him and his forces in a steep valley, where Jannaeus was lucky to escape alive. The Seleucid king Antiochus XII waged war against the Nabataeans, but was defeated and died in the Battle of Cana. After these important victories, Obodas I became the first Nabataean king to be worshipped as a god by his people, who built the temple of Avdat in the Negev desert to commemorate him. During the reign of Aretas III, the kingdom reached its greatest extent, controlling trade routes from Syria across Arabia toward the southern coast. In 64 BC, the Roman general Pompey invaded and took Syria, the city of Petra was besieged, and the Nabataeans were forced to pay tribute to Rome to retain their independence. King Aretas IV is considered the greatest of the Nabataean kings. He consolidated Nabataean power in the region, even in the face of Roman incursions, and was able to win recognition from Augustus Caesar as an autonomous king. Nabataean culture and economy all reached their height under his reign. However, the Nabataean kingdom saw itself slowly surrounded by the expanding Roman Empire, which conquered Egypt and annexed Hasmonean Judea. After the death of King Rabel II Soter, the Roman armies moved in from Egypt and Syria, facing no resistance. The Roman Emperor Trajan annexed the kingdom in 106 AD and set up the new province of Arabia Petraea, with the city of Bosra chosen in place of Petra as the provincial capital. Petra's importance declined as sea trade routes emerged, and by the time of the Arab invasion in the 7th century, the cities had long been deserted and the Nabataeans forgotten. Petra remained unknown to the world until it was rediscovered by the Swiss traveler Johann Ludwig Burckhardt on the 22nd of August 1812.